I saw you jamming, and I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna cut off really soon. So I'm so sorry. You were having the time of your life.
I mean, who doesn't love that? That's like the OG original internet meme. Like you, if you are a millennial, you know
Right, you
that
know
meme.
that, right?
Like
When you said it to me, it just took me back. I was like, wait a minute, this just
I
you implanted them. You opened up a memory.
Well, it was
Just
like
like,
literally what was
whoa.
playing in my head the whole 2 episodes. As soon as I
Mhm.
finished, I put it on, like I opened YouTube and put it on our TV, and my wife started laughing.
No,
It
it
was
was
great.
hilarious. It was great. Well, if you couldn't tell by that intro, we are here to discuss Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. So can I be very, very honest with you right
Sure.
now? And you can judge me if you want. I hope this is a safe space, but you can judge me if you
It is
want.
a safe
And
space. I mean,
I
I don't know
won't.
if it's a safe space for the people who are watching this,
I
but
don't
it's
think
certainly
so.
for us, Mo. I feel like we
Right, it is. We've shared a lot. It's been a lot of sharing. Okay. Um, do you know it? So I watched the 2 episodes.
Mhm.
The whole everything happened in the chat happened, right? The discussions, the fights, the
I was
breakdowns,
at
and all
work
of
while
that.
you all were doing
Right,
this,
right, right.
so
It today, today is when it hit me that we're watching the rings getting like this is the origin story of the rings.
yes, that's
It
really
just hit
sad,
me today.
but
It,
it's in the title of the
I
show,
know,
Mo.
I know. It never, you know what? It never clicked. One, because I don't know about you, and this is just, I think this is also a testament to the show. It was kind of boring. It was
Uh,
2 hours of Snorfest for
Definitely the
me.
first episode was pretty boring. The second one I felt was better than the first one.
I spent most of the time watching it, and I was on Wikipedia, and I was
Yeah.
pausing in, and I was rewinding. I'm like, did I miss anything? So it definitely didn't, for like certain people, like Patrick, for one, it hit all the notes. He
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
I know.
wanted certain things from it, right? I don't know about you, but for me, I also don't know what I was expecting from this. So I think that's another thing. Was I expecting like Fellowship, even the Hobbits, which
Oh, I mean,
I'm
oh,
partial to the
that's right.
Hobbits.
You're the one person on the planet besides Peter Jackson who's partial to the Hobbit movies. All right, so I forgot. I forgot.
Oh yeah, I'm partial to the Hobbits, right? But yeah, it's it just it it's things were happening. Is pretty much. And then I was researching, like when everything was done, I was researching, this is who this is. And during, I was like, oh, during, not during, but during. I'm
Durin,
like,
yeah.
oh, I know this name. And I was like, oh, Hobbits. But then
Well, he's
it's
like
not
the
the same.
dad, right?
Yeah, it's
Of
the
of the
grandfather, like,
first guy or the grandfather
yeah,
of the main dwarf from the Hobbit, right? He's some
yes,
ancestor of the main dwarf from the Hobbit.
yes. So I was
Like,
like, okay, that's cool.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
There's lots of cool cameos. Like, yeah.
yes. And then when someone in the chat finally told me who that was that fell to the ground, who that star was or whatever, the comet that fell, the powerful being that fell to
All
the
right,
ground. I
who is
was like,
that? Is
oh,
that who is that supposed to be? Like, you can tell. I
Gandalf.
mean, that's what I was thinking that it's supposed to be Gandalf. But then I read so this show reminded me I thought I would give myself like a B in my understanding of Tolkien. Like I read the Lord of the Rings as both as a teenager and as an adult, and
Hmm.
then I read the Silmarillion as a teenager. So I always and I watched the movies and all that kind of stuff. So I always understood enough Tolkien that when people were talking about it, I thought that
Well, you
I
know what?
knew
I can be in this
I'm there. Like I'm
conversation.
not like a hardcore Tolkien fan or anything like that, but I enjoyed Lord of the Rings, particularly Fellowship of the Ring,
Right.
the book,
Fellowship
a
is
lot. I
okay.
the movie and the book Two Towers I find to be incredibly boring. I still really find them very boring. And this show, particularly the first episode, frequently felt like I was watching Two Towers. Like stuff happened. Like I can tell it's going somewhere, but oh my god, it's going somewhere in some of the most boring ways possible.
Oh my
Um,
God, the elves are so slow and pretentious, and
oh yeah.
there's listen.
Although I like Galadriel, but I was blown away though. I was like, this has got to be Gandalf, right? And then but I looked at Wikipedia and I'm like, but Gandalf doesn't show up until the third age of Middle Earth, and this is still the second age of Middle Earth.
Right,
So I'm
right.
like, so
Are they
Does that mean that like they
friends
changed that?
anymore?
But that's a big
Yeah.
change. And so, but doesn't like all of them arrive together? Like I was like, I don't know. And at that point, I was just like, whatever. If that's Gandalf, cool. That actor seems like he could be good. And then I guess they're explaining why he like Gandalf loves hobbits so much. But
Right, because when he landed, he met
but like
Harfoots, what they're
yeah, but
called here.
he's an angel. So why is he killing things? And I was like, I don't know, whatever. Like I'm like, and Amazon refused to spoil the twist because like I was like, oh, I'll just pause and it will bring up the IMDb.
Right.
Say the name of like what the character is, which it does to so many TV shows.
Every TV show,
I was like,
movies,
it was just
even stuff that's not Amazon, right? Will still do that. They still do that for you.
Yeah, it's like The Stranger. Curse you, Bezos. Curse you. As I says, I just ordered some stuff on the app, so you know.
You're definitely funding the show.
Oh, I am.
Like we all funded this show. Everyone is. If you shopped on Amazon, your money. I mean, you see where your money went, because my goodness.
All right. My last corny joke before we should probably talk about the individual episodes is I turned to my wife at the end of this. I was like, I've always wondered what $1 billion bill looked like, and we just had it broadcast on our screen because this show looks expensive. Like,
oh my god,
expensive.
Okay, so Middle Earth, not necessarily Middle Earth. Every elven town, everything elf just looked like they said, listen, we're gonna hire the best people, the best VFX artists, the best makeup artists, everything elf. And then they were like, oh, humans. Okay.
I mean, I disagree, right? Well, I mean, I agree with like the humans look grody, but I think that was a purposeful choice.
Yeah, of course.
Like it wasn't like they were like only.
I'm not saying it looked cheap. I'm just saying they just didn't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
they wanted to make a point.
I mean, there's some weird choices in this show, like of like how to interpret the material. Like for example, turning the elves into like U.S. Marines in Baghdad was like a weird energy. Like I was like, wait. Like so the elves are like, it's like, whoa. Like I think you're biting off more you can chew here. Like relativism does not exist in Lord of the Rings. Like you really like the more you push, like try to make a Game of Thrones, it doesn't become Game of Thrones. Like, and that's a thing that I sometimes worry about, right? Like with this, where I'm like, like there's evil in Tolkien's world, like, and like the White Walkers are not like the tertiary threat that dances at the main character once a season. Like, there's evil, like capital E, you believe in the devil kind of evil in Lord of the Rings, and the more you push on relativism, like the more you break. Like what makes Tolkien, I think, resonate with so many people, which is that it's this epic trans like timeline struggle of good versus evil, right?
Correct.
And that goodness can temporarily overcome evil, but evil is always there lurking, which the show literally says.
Yes.
So I hope they stick to that and they don't just be like, people love Game of Thrones, so we're gonna like throw in elves being Marines persecuting the humans. It's
that was horrible. Because when we're talking about at the Watchtower or whatever. Like, these people. Why would you say that?
It's like,
oh, these people, really?
It's like, oh my god,
when like the war is over, so we can finally go, and you would never have to see these people.
Oh.
Oh, I was like, racist much? Like, elves are so racist.
I mean, elves are racist, but it had like such energy of just like you're watching like the Hurt Locker. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, wow. It's like, Jesus, like, are the humans gonna set off an IED to like kill like a bunch of elves? Like, this is intense.
Maybe because the lady's son with the sword, his blood, that might be the IED.
I mean, who knows? Like, they didn't do a very good job of explaining what that specific group of humans did that made the elves so mad.
They didn't do a good job of explaining a lot of things. That's the way I see it.
I think in the first episode.
Especially in the first episode, things were just happening. Like, yes, Galadriel, did a good job of explaining why she's where she is, right?
Yes,
And
Galadriel stuff was good in the first episode.
exactly that prologue was good. Even when she took down the troll by herself,
Whatever.
people, you know,
whatever. Galadriel's like, she's Galadriel. Like, what did you expect her to do? Get punked by a
she's a 1,000-year elf. Like it didn't make, you know what? Okay, I'll say this right here, and then we'll probably never talk. That's a lie. But
we're
I'll
gonna
say
never talk about it. This is about the Mary Sue thing because it's
right, Mary Sue thing, because no one ever questioned the fact that Legolas could do any and everything. Like I remember watching that movie. I remember the discourse of that movie. I remember seeing Legolas in the Hobbits movie. And in all of that, no one ever said, "Oh, how is he able to do all these things?" Right?
He's an elf. That's what they do.
That's so. In my mind, elves are just great at everything, right?
That's
Everyone
their
else
thing.
has to.
That's
Yes,
their thing.
everyone else has to match up. So, me seeing a female elf doing things, I don't question it because I've never had to question it for anybody else. So what the thing, right, that pisses me off. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Mo. Keep going. Because I have.
It's just like how like, so if you never question the fact that elves are so like literally good at everything, sword fighting, arrows, bow and arrow, like sliding down. Legolas slid down the you know, do you know how many times I tried in the house to slide?
How are you still alive?
And listen, there's a lot. No, there's a lot of questions. That is one of them, because I tried it. I'm like, you know what? That was super cool. Let me see. No, that's impossible to do. So like, we didn't question it then. Why we question it now? Like even like it's no, and then yeah, no, just no.
The thing that drives me insane, like I expected, I mean, because it started even before it came out, like the whole race bending or race change, or whatever the appropriate term is, discourse. I was expecting that. That was just like,
that's the one. Yes,
that's the one. Galadriel as a Mary Sue, like discourse, like what are you talking about? Like Tolkien literally says in his own text, Galadriel's like the greatest elf woman who ever lived. Like she's awesome. Like, and she's awesome in the original movies. Yeah, she doesn't do like action scenes, but she's really cool. And she literally says to Frodo, like, don't give me the ring because I'll take over the world. And she's so hot that a racist ass dwarf is like, nah, I'm hot for elves now. And you're just like, what are you expecting of her? Like, she is like one of the most important characters in like Tolkien's
all of
like mythos. She's easily the most important female character in Tolkien's mythos. Like, you know, up there with, I can't remember the name of the woman who kills the Nazgul. What's her name? Or Eowyn? No. Arwen is Aragorn's wife. Yes. And then Owen? I can't remember. It's been so long since I've watched the movie or read the book that I can't remember her name. But anyway, those are all like the other important female characters. There's not a lot of important female characters in Tolkien. And Galadriel is one of them, and has been established and stated by Tolkien that she's awesome. And she's an elf. Like, what did you expect? Like, if she was a Mary Sue, she's a Mary Sue to Tolkien.
She's like she's the quintessential Mary Sue, because that, like, literally, that is, oh man, like, okay, I like, so yes, I will never pretend to understand that one.
I just like is it because it's not Elrond? Like because he's gonna do some cool stuff, I'm sure. Like, are people gonna complain about that? I mean, he's like able to be a elf ass to this dwarf and get him to forgive him, right? Like,
right. Imagine not going to your best friend's wedding or going to see his children like being born. Like, that's some crazy shit.
Yeah, like, yeah.
I kind of do want to talk about that when we get there. But no, so first episode happens. That's the biggest exposition. That's the biggest explanation for anything, right? That's ever happened. And then it jumps to
the humans, right?
The humans. No, I think it went to, was it humans or was it
I think it went Galadriel, humans, back. Maybe it went to the hobbits.
I think
it was so boring, and I forgot about them.
Right. That was weird. You know, I feel like it looks like they're setting them up to be like an important piece of the puzzle, but like nothing happened. Like, okay, they went out of their pasture. Like, okay, this is how hobbits have to live now, right? You know, they haven't been discovered yet. So this is how they
primitive hobbits. They're
right.
They're hobbits, because Smeagol, right, is
Yes.
going to be one of them. So depending on
But
how, like,
is he one of? I thought Smeagol was
I thought
the Hobbit from the Hobbits.
no, Smeagol is Golem, and Golem was a proto Hobbit.
Hmm.
If I remember correctly, that's so I could be
Oh
wrong.
yeah,
But
Smeagol.
Smeagol is definitely Golem before he gets corrupted by
So
the
wait,
ring.
so oh man, now I gotta think about everything again. So the Hobbit from the Hobbits, right, is not.
Is Bilbo, but he's hundreds of
Oh,
years in the
Bilbo
future
never. Yes, Bilbo never becomes. Bilbo let the ring go, right?
to
Or
Frodo, but he gets like
yeah,
it makes him like age more slowly, and he gets to be kind of a jerk sometimes. But he
yes,
doesn't get fully corrupted by the ring.
yes, that's right, that's right.
And then Frodo saves everybody, but that's hundreds of years in the future.
Yes, that's what 1,000 years.
Maybe not even that much, I think, because if this is supposed to be like the end of the second age, beginning of the third, then it's like hundreds of years in the future. So
So
because
wait, Liv Tyler though, that was Liv Tyler that killed the
no, it's not Liv Tyler, it's the other woman. Liv Tyler marries Viggo Mortensen,
Okay.
him of the sword that he waves around.
Ilwyn.
Yeah, that's it. Like the Rohan woman.
Correct. Okay. All right.
But
All right.
like, I mean, like if I'm trying to remember, like I'm pretty sure that Smeagol, who becomes Golem, is of this like version of proto hobbits. I could be wrong. So, and if this is supposed to be like close-ish, because as I understand it, like Isidore who's the guy who takes the ring, you know, at the beginning of
Right.
Lord of the Rings, the movie, he's like, you know, it's that meme, right? No, you know, no, I'm gonna take the ring, right? That guy is supposed to be in the show.
Oh, wow.
So that would mean that this is the end of the second age, beginning of the third age.
So we are gonna get the big war, right?
There's two big wars.
Okay.
So there's because the like they defeat Sauron, then he comes back and tricks the human, like the guys from in the boats who rescue them at the end, right? The Nemordians, that big human civilization,
right?
That's in the trailer for the future episodes. Yes. Is it worth checking out? Well, yes, I would say.
The show, right? Yeah. The second episode is a lot better. The first episode was a bit. If you can get past you just need
basically
to be able to
past the Hobbits.
Power through the Hobbit stuff in the first episode. But the first episode makes the second episode makes up for it. Like it does. It makes up for it because
it's much better.
Human interaction and all the other stuff that makes this show. You know, I think the humans are a big part of this, right? And that's what's gonna happen. But no, like
yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just like rambling about Tolkien stuff here, and I apologize. But like, there's like a lot of like, it's weird to me where this is set. Like, I think they're trying to collapse some stuff, kind of like what Game of Thrones, does sometimes. But anyway,
so
there's gonna be a bunch of fighting Sauron
here, right?
Here, but in the show, there's like 2 to 3 wars before we get to the timeline of Lord of the Rings,
of the Fellowship of the Lord of the Rings. Okay. So again, the main story is about creation of the rings. It took me a couple days to get that, but we're here. In episode 2, Gandalf tells the hobbits that he needs to find these 7 stars. Are we talking about the 7 constellations, rather 7 stars?
7 things, 7 constellations.
Yeah, 7 things. Are we talking about the actual rings at this point, or is he?
There's 9 of them, so
right.
Let's see if it's the other Lord of the Rings, like the other wizards. How many of them? There's 5 wizards, so no, it's not the wizards that he's looking for. So there's 4 other ones besides him. Right. I don't know what it is. I mean, it could be. I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, I do not know what's going on with Gandalf, particularly because if, like, to me, it struck when I was like, updating myself on Tolkien. I was like, oh, that can't be Gandalf because Gandalf shows up later in the timeline, but they're collapsing some of the timeline together.
They are.
Then.
So another question I have to ask you. I think I was trying to ask Patrick, but I didn't really want to. I wanted to save this for the show. Do you have to know lore to get into this? Is because again, because of that first episode and the lack of explanation, I think, and then the second episode, while it did do better, to me personally, still like leaves a lot of things out. Are they trying to build that up, or are they telling you know some stuff before you come in?
I would definitely say to somebody if they're like, I want to try this show, watch the Lord of the Rings movies. Like I just like can't imagine like really caring about any of this if you haven't seen the movies. Like, and I don't mean that as like a criticism per se of the show. I also don't feel like House of the Dragon is super great if you've never seen, like, have no attachment to Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yes.
Like, not saying you need to like watch every episode of Game of Thrones to understand House of the Dragon. You don't. I think you need to understand more of Lord of the Rings to understand this.
Right.
You do House of the Dragon.
Right. Yeah,
but I think you still need this like attachment, at least some attachment to the property. It doesn't have to be like you've got elf ears hiding in your closet. But I think you should at least have watched the original 3 movies. Forget the Hobbits. Whatever, the Hobbit. Unless you're Mo. And then you should definitely watch them.
Why are we forgetting the Hobbits, man?
Those movies are bad, Mo. Like, they're not even fun bad. They're long and boring.
This is a question. So, do you have? I feel like you should refresh yourself. Just to be up to, stuff, because
at least honestly, just the first one. Like, just to remember who Galadriel is, like, and Elrond, right?
Elrond, yes, definitely.
Like, because you don't really necessarily need any of things right now from the second and third one.
No.
But it's like, just refresh yourself of like who Elrond is, who Galadriel is, who the dwarves, like recenter yourself in the universe. But you don't need to like be like, because it's not so close that like Aragorn's dad.
There's still time. Like Isildur
is apparently in this. So
yeah, that's what I heard. So then again, like, so according to you, a lot of things are being like dropped into, like, it feels like they're just mixing and mashing, like not in a bad way. I don't know.
No, I mean they're just compressing, I think, because
it's a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah, Tolkien likes to do things like, well, because he's a big believer in cycles, right?
Right.
Like, oh yeah, you beat evil, so the society has come and it's awesome, but then it slowly,
rolls right back around.
It goes, and then evil comes back, and it just like it's very cyclic, right? And I mean, apparently in the sequel to Lord of the Rings, he was I would actually say it looks better than a lot of movies. Like it looks better than House of the Dragon, easily.
You know why? Because Jeff Bezos has all the money in the world, and WB's broke. But yes, production is amazing. I was watching it, taking screenshots. I was watching on TV, like, yo, this looks really good. Especially, again, a lot of the shot compositions and was amazing. Like, I think when Galadriel and Elrond were talking the first time, and the camera panned up, and her cloak was like spun around in the grass. I'm like, who thinks up stuff like this? It looks too good. And
it's the best looking television show of all time. Like, honestly,
and when she was going to heaven, not heaven, like, what? It's not okay. So I did ask the question yesterday. I was in the chat. You may have missed it, but I did ask. I'm like, so was she going to like heaven? Like when they're like, okay, you've done, you fought, like you can go home. Is home like heaven? It's not. It's really it's heaven adjacent.
Yeah, it's sort of.
It's also not Valhalla, so it's
sort of
thing.
It's because the elves came from there originally,
right,
and then they only go back when they're like tired of being in Middle Earth. So I don't know, like that always confused me. You reading the book, reading some really, I'm like,
I wish I could be like, you know what, I'm tired.
So is it a one-way trip for a second?
Right, no, like because she jumped out of the boat. Like if she goes in, she won't be able to come back. It seemed like that. Like she was like, "Nah, I'm not about to give up my
quest for revenge."
Yeah, quest for revenge indeed.
That scene was bad. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It was pretty, but it was just bad.
Oh, it looked good. Like again, that was all in the first episode because I'm like, what's going on? And then I think the thing that made that entire scene or that block, because it was like a long stretch of scenes, because it was Gandalf falling, and it was something else.
It was the wasn't it the elf and the woman? Was that when they were like, yeah, they saw the village right on fire.
Yes, right? Yes. So they see the village on fire. Did her son pick up the sword yet?
He did, yeah.
Yes, that's actually what started the entire thing. So he picks up the sword, it lights on fire. He sees it, was like, oh my god, and then boom, comet falling, ship, just drifting into Valhalla, not Valhalla. All of that was just
in the sky.
All of that was just like what the hell was going on? See, this is the part where I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch this because I was committed at the time. Mind you, this is it dropped at 9:00, so
10, 11-ish.
Yeah, so this is about 10, 11. Because I've been pausing a lot, just trying to catch while I'm doing my wiki and trying to catch a lot of things as I'm watching. I'm pausing a lot. So it's like really 10:35. All of this is happening, and I have no idea. Nothing on Wikipedia. But I was like, you know what? If that works for you,
yeah, I mean that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Like
that is,
if I wasn't going to do the show and talk with people about it, then I would
have done that as well. Yeah, if we weren't going to do this, I would do that. But no, ultimately that happened, and I and thank God for the second episode, because if they stopped there, I think I'd have hit you up and be like, nah, I can't do this.
Yeah, I think they knew that too. Like that's why they did 2 episodes, because they spend so much money, right? So you think Amazon gets 10 episodes, I think, right?
Yes, that's
right.
What it's
you think Amazon would want to stretch this, because it's gonna take them another 2 years to make another season of this, and the budget. The thing is, I mean, the question is is that $1 billion the budget for the whole 5 years, the 5 seasons that they said they're going to do of this, or is it one season's budget
per season? So they're going to spend $5 billion,
or are they just not right? Are they going to do the thing where it's we spent a lot of money on the first season, but we're saving that, but it becomes we're saving the money later? I don't know, but it definitely, the first episode was, I think, quite weak. I was really, particularly the ending of that episode. I'm sorry, yes. She doesn't go in the glowy thing. She jumps in the water. I'm like, what's your plan, girl? You just gonna swim? I know elves are invincible. They don't have to sleep or whatever. So she's just gonna swim? Okay.
Forever.
Forever? It's okay. And then the second episode, I think, did salvage a pretty mediocre first episode, and was all right to good. I was like, okay, I'm more invested. There was less hobbits, and there was focused more specifically on those hobbits and I guess Gandalf, right?
Right.
And I think the show benefits the more they restrict the amount of hobbit content. But that could be me. That could be a Roy thing. The human stuff was pretty good.
They did have that one elder hobbit with the book.
Yeah.
With the Farmer's Almanac, but
yeah, that's Farmer's Farmer's Mage book or whatever. Uncle Joe's Book of Spells.
They have to explain stuff. I think we've gotten the big things. I think what do you think? You think the next couple episodes will be, because it looks like from the preview, the coming soon, or that they're just gonna do a lot of it just seems like bigger things are gonna happen. It doesn't look like they're going to expose a lot of what we just saw.
I hope so. I mean, oh yeah, we haven't even talked about what I thought was what really saved the second episode was the dwarf elf stuff. That was really good. I really enjoyed that.
The actor and Durin,
and his wife. I was just okay, this is good. I was this we want more of. And then the Galadriel stuff remained solid once she was on the boat.
Yes.
And then definitely. I think the human stuff also got a little bit better. The action scene was solid. With the orc. right? It was
Orc, yeah.
it was a good starter action sequence, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for what we're gonna get.
yeah, like I mean, it was very
Question.
traditional fantasy, right? You start with one
Question.
dude, and then by the end of the thing, you're all killing hundreds of those dudes.
Right. What do you think happened? What about your troll? How do you feel about the main fight in the trolls in the troll the cave troll thing?
That was
The snow
fine.
troll. It was okay.
Yeah,
It
it was okay.
wasn't okay.
Like it
So
looked good. Like it looked good.
it did.
I mean, that's the thing about this show. Like it just looked really good.
Everything looks amazing. Like the orc design in the barn fight, or that that human orc. Like we've seen orcs. Okay, if you're coming from the Lord of the Rings, the first couple movies, like to hear, they're like, no, we're going to, because that was a very close shot of the, I think because back then everything was kind of pulled away. You never really saw close of the orcs. Since we're gonna get it's a 1-on-1 fight, they put money into it and it looked good.
Yeah, they put more money and like it looks better. I mean, Lord of the Rings looked as good as something could in 2000,
In that time.
2002, 2003.
Yeah.
But there were still like tricks that they did. Like
Mhm.
anytime you saw like a bunch of orcs or humans about to fight in a battle, it was always like 5 dudes. And like they would
Right.
shoot around. And Peter Jackson was really good at that. Like I'm not shading that. That was just what you had to do at that time. There's a lot less of that trickery here. Like
Yes.
Bezos just scanned his Amex card and was like, we got this. We got this. We got this. Like, and that shows. Like, if you like, in many ways, this is a testimony to like money solves problems. It's like
No,
if you just throw money at it,
enough money, yeah.
Like it makes like this movie's like quality of CG makes Warner's and Disney look pathetic. Like even like the best CG that they've done on their TV shows. Like it makes it makes How the Dragons look pathetic. Like
it's crazy because if you're judging like CG TV show CG right now, right? This is the standard. This is obviously the standard. But this I can't really call this a standard because this is where all the money works, right? This is where you're like, if we have all the money, this is what we can do. I think House of Dragon is still kind of the standard.
Oh, House of Dragons is much the standard. Like House of Dragons is good TV CG.
Yes.
Like it is good. Like it's like
$20 million episodes. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, yes. But like when the now I guess second richest man, because for some reason Elon Musk is richer than the guy who owns Amazon, whatever, capitalism, like whatever. But like when the CEO of your still I think Amazon is the largest company in the world. Yeah. Like it's like, no, this is a passion project for me. You can do what you want. Like this is what you get. Like you're never gonna like Warner's. I mean, obviously with that guy who is like cutting everything.
Zaslav. Yeah,
and
I think
no one who runs Disney is gonna be like,
yeah. No. Feige's not doing that because he has to put money to like. I see the thing with Amazon is like this is the one big show they have, right? Wheel of Time is number 2, but like in terms of like, there's not a lot where they have to split money through. Like with Disney, you're splitting money through a lot of Star Wars stuff, a lot of Marvel stuff. There's and then your Pixar stuff that you have to occasionally. Yeah, we own this company, so once in a while we have to throw you guys an animated thingy every now and again. Warner Brothers has to split money across a lot of. Amazon has the.
They just bought James Bond, which is the only thing their studio like owns.
Exactly. So yeah, we can do whatever. Right now, we have so much money and not a lot of stuff to put it on. So why not put it all in here? And I feel like you might be right. Season 2, 3, 4, and 5 might suffer from the fact that now you have to think of, okay, we have to budget. We have to. We need. James Bond movie has to come out, so we have to budget that. We can't put $1 billion into a show because we need to spread some. We might be looking at maybe 500 mil going into the next season. But they have. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Well, I'm
just
saying
like, if you. Go ahead. It's fine. No, okay, I'm done. We're good.
All right. Well, Wheel of Time looked pretty good. I felt
it did.
Like the writing wasn't always the best, but I felt it looked good. And then like previously Amazon's like goal, like way they were like building up their catalog was a bunch of like Mad Men / Breaking Bad level budget shows, right? Like Bosch is a
Mm-hmm.
great example of this. Like one of their
Mm-hmm.
big successful shows. Like that show is good and well produced and well directed, but it's like not burning down the like investor
No.
meeting like stuff, right? And like the same with that show that they have with Billy Bob Thornton. Like The
The Lie.
Expanse was their other big expensive show, which they have
Yeah.
subsequently canceled
Because
before
no
the
one was
story was
watching it.
done.
Yeah.
So,
No one
which
was
is
watching
interesting.
that.
But
Because no one was watching it.
is that really what it was? Like, I
Yes,
don't
it
know.
was super. It was okay. So that's the reason also sci-fi canceled, because it was super niche, right?
Mhm.
It's like, yes, like nerd, everything nerd is like a thing now, right? Everyone has to produce some like a space show, comic book show, fantasy show, right? That's your three major things, right? Right. And wait, I don't even think anyone is doing a space show. Well, yes, if you're not Star Trek or Star Wars, no
Star
one is
Trek
watching.
has kind of Star Trek and Star Wars, yeah, or the
Yeah, if you're not Star Trek or Star Wars, what's the other big space IP? No one is watching you. And so The
there's going to be
Expanse,
a Mass
while
Effect show.
good, you got to put money into it.
Mhm.
And I think because the IP is like super big and people kind of know it, it's a game. Yeah, people are gonna watch it to see, right? And if
Mhm.
it's good, people are gonna stick. The Expanse didn't have, like, outside of just being the book, didn't have any other thing in its, it didn't have any other thing to say, oh, we are something, we've been something, come see us. Like, right?
Yeah,
If you
no.
didn't know about the Expanse prior to that, you weren't gonna wait. And it took too long to get to a lot of the stories. It's like the good stories. And so
Yeah.
sci-fi canceled it after 3 seasons. Bezos bought it, canceled it after 2, right?
3, right? Was it 5,
Six
6,
seasons.
6, oh, 3 and 3?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, they've said they might do a movie to finish it up, which
should.
would be fine. I
It
mean,
would
like
be
the
fun.
Expanse books, I think I've said this on this episode, like are very uneven. Some are like great, and then others are like, what did I just read? Like,
Right.
why did I spend 3 days of my life reading this book? Anyway, back to
And if
Lord
you
of the
cut the Expanse, you save money.
Rings. To make more Lord of the Rings.
Right. So there you go. They just did what Zaslav did with Batgirl, but you didn't start it. You didn't already sink money into it. You're like, okay, no more money. We're closing up the purse. Back to Lord of the Rings. The other big question I had to ask was, so the Numerians,
Well, they're not. They showed up at the end. They're the boat.
right? They're going to be a big thing moving forward, right? Are we going to get majority of that story in this first season, or are they just going to kind of like,
Who knows? Like, I mean, there's the sense of like it's the same similar thing to like House of the Dragon, which I know much more intimately, right? I
Right.
don't know where they're going to draw the line for the first season of House of the Dragon. I especially don't know where they're going to like. Are we going to get the ring? Like, do we have to wait until season 5 to get the rings, or are the rings going to show up in season 2? Right? Because like the season could end with them constructing the forge. That could be it, right? It could be with them defeating Sauron the first time as the minions. I can never pronounce Tolkien stuff. The major human civilization defeats them, right?
Right.
Like, and then they get their own little version of Worm Tongue that corrupts them, and then they fall, right? Like that could be set up, right? The season could end with we beat him, yay, but he's actually not gone, right?
Right. So it would be nice though if they beat him here and just are up and they do the cycle thing, because that is the Tolkien thing, right?
Yep.
The Tolkien thing to do. So, I mean, again, like I said, if they had stopped at the end of episode 1, I'm not coming back.
100%.
And I would tell you, hey, like maybe we should wait to the end of it to do a big review. But I could do this weekly. I think so. Do this weekly. Yeah.
I was actually disappointed where it ended. Like it just felt very like, oh, that's the end of the episode. Yeah, episode 2. It was just like, oh, that's the end of the episode. I was like, I expected more to come. Like in a good way. It wasn't like, oh, that was the end of it.
Okay.
It was like, oh wow, okay, that's where you're gonna end it. All right, cool. I'll see you next week. Like they did a good job in the end, I think, with the second episode of like moving things forward enough that I'm like, okay, I am like, yes, you spent a lot of money to make a mid-brow fantasy show, but like I'm cool with it. Like it got better. It might
Okay, so
not
now,
stay good, but
right, right. Okay, so I think the big question, right? 2 episodes of House of Dragon, 2 episodes of this, which I don't want to do this, but I feel like it's being done everywhere. But which do you think? Like, which, if you were like, I only have time to do one show, one of these 2 shows,
oh,
which one would it be?
I would probably. I mean, there's a lot of like you're talking about. I'll give 2 answers. One, if it's just like me by myself, like I'm just
Right.
like I have to choose, and just
Mhm.
in a vacuum with no outside thing, I would choose Lord of the Rings simply because it's way more like I'd have to watch anyone's wife get the baby cut out of them, and someone's
Okay.
dick
Okay.
gets slapped on like a thing, right? Like all these things that we're in,
Oh
right?
my
And
god.
the whole second episode's plot didn't revolve around are you gonna sleep with the 9-year-old or the 15-year-old? Like
Right.
none of that. And I'm like, you know what? That's my energy. All right. I'm after we get off here, I'm gonna go open a couple boxes of magic cards. Like that's the energy that I'm in right now. But
Mhm.
but with talking with you, talking with other friends, coworkers, it would be House of the Dragon because that's what people are much more talking about. Like no one knew about this show in general who I knew who were not invested nerds. Like I asked students, like, you gonna watch the Lord of the Rings show on Amazon? They're like, what is that? So compared to like more people are aware of like, and so I'm much more likely on Monday or I guess Tuesday because this more I've worked to be asked about by a coworker like, what do you think of House of the Dragons?
The House of the Dragons, right?
Right. Then what did you think of the Lord of the Rings? I mean,
Would
that
it
might
surprise
change.
you though? I was gonna say, would it
But
surprise you if you went to work on Tuesday and you're like, "Yo, Roy, did you see?"
and then I'd be like, all right, well then I would definitely
And
kick this
then,
up my priority.
and you're
Like
like, "Yes,
because
anything
like
but House of the Dragon."
well, and I don't mind House of the Dragon overall. Like
Right?
I also think it got better. And I hope
Yes,
that
it
the third
did.
episode is better. But like I guess like what it's just way less gross. And I'm way more in the room for like less grossness in my life.
No, it is because this wasn't gross, and this was okay. This was very easy to digest. It was again when she jumped off the boat. I'm going back there. When she jumped off the boat, I was like, "What is your plan here? What was the reason?" You don't want to go to heaven, not heaven, but you don't want beef is she's like beef is forever.
Yeah.
This beef is
She's petty.
forever. No, she really is. And you know what? I love it because male characters do it all the time and no one says
Mhm.
anything. So,
Yeah.
yeah, not yeah. I'm not gonna talk about that, but yeah.
I mean,
So,
I'm sure we'll have plenty
oh,
because I mean, I think what's so insane though is Amazon spent all of this money and changed the race of
oh,
characters
oh yeah.
and had a Mary Sue protagonist, but still the twerk heard around the world is still being
It's still
discussable.
being yes.
So
Like not your Mary Sue character, not the black elf with short. Look, I went on. Okay? So let me just talk about this. As we're here, I forget his name. Elrond, whatever.
no, it starts with an A, doesn't it? Arion. They say his name like once. Like
Right, and it's his watch commander, I think, that said it too. Right, so that happens. Look, they call him Knife Ears a lot more.
hmm,
Show is so racist.
it's true that the one black elf gets the most racism.
That's the one that you call. Like you have the one black elf, and you're like, you know what?
He's also the only one that's involved in committing war crimes. Like there's like he gets all of the bad stuff that the elves are
So
doing.
I made the mistake of so part of my Googles and wiki research on his character. I go on Reddit, and
Oh
there's
God.
like
Oh,
I know the whole subreddit is them trying to add hair to his character.
Oh my
And
god.
there's this one, the most atrocious thing I've ever seen in my life. I wasn't gonna save the pictures because
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't
not
say that. I was expecting it as like it's gonna come up. It's gonna come up.
gonna no, like he has hair and he's lighter.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Yes,
Oh,
they
but
did.
I
I
I,
do this to
I
my
wish I could be
I
really
know.
surprised, but you've got a bunch of white Tolkien fans trying to fix this.
Oh, he looks so and then the comments, he looks so much better. Oh my god, this is
It's like, oh god. Oh my god.
oh no. But
Oh.
again, when Ray shared the article, it's like water is wet. Okay.
Mhm.
Tell me something I don't know, right? Like this is what it's sad because it's funny. The sad and funny because it's funny because people in 2022 we're still discussing race. Those people that say that surprisingly are the same people that would be like, and why would you race bend? Just make your own character. It's fair, like it's fantasy, bro. Like these people don't exist in real life.
I mean, some
None.
people they don't they exist as much as anything else does to them. That I mean, and the vision that they have is,
Yes,
stays
and
bright out.
you have
Like,
to ask
yeah,
yourself
reflection.
why that's the thing. But no, yeah, I just thought that was funny to mention. Like like really long hair, edit long hair and lighter skin, and so much better.
I mean, the
This is
lighter
the
skin
best.
thing just really kills me. It's like, what are you doing? Like,
Let me
think about
find it.
yourself. You don't even need to say, like, do you understand what you're like? It's not even this 2022. It's just like, think for a second. Like, put the Photoshop filters down. All right. Oh my god.
Correct. Let
Well,
me see if I can find it.
the thing that's just so absurd about all this is this has been a hell of a week, Mo. Like,
It has.
I honestly feel like since again the tour heard around the world, like the sirens are just like going off.
Oh my god.
You know what actually fandom in general feels like? When it happens every 4 or 5 years in Batman when the Joker or Bane or somebody breaks all of the supervillains out of Arkham.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel like has happened to fandom. Is She-Hulk, now Lord of the Rings, like the Joker's come in, busted all of the
House of
lunatics.
Dragon,
House of Dragon,
Corliss.
it's just like
Oh my god!
it's just like scarecrows running around just poisoning people in the streets. Like it's just like chaos. Chaos reigns. No one can fix it. It's no man's land. Like whatever Batman metaphor you want to use, it's just horrible. Like
there's more. Not even the worst offender.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I do have to say, how we were joking about the wigs were the weakest part of this, by the way.
Yes.
So
yes.
I feel like
It's
maybe
a
the
thing.
wig technology isn't there. Like,
it is a thing. Like it's a thing. Like wigs are just horrible now. Like it's so weird. It's so weird. Especially this guy. I don't know if you can see this guy.
Oh yeah,
What is that on his head?
the Elf King. Elf King looked like an idiot,
Yes.
just in general.
Oh my god! I hated him. I hated him. And
oh my god, I'm sorry I can't get over that picture. That was amazing.
Oh, it's so bad. And like the entire comment section, oh my god, this fixes everything. Why couldn't they do this? Like this is the best thing I've ever seen. And he's looking left again. I'm like, what?
What is it?
He's looking left again is the one that just bent my mind because like does that really matter which direction he's looking in? Like,
oh my god. Well, I mean, I'm sure they're gonna be like, there's someone who's gonna complain about like I can see footprints, like because elves they walk so lightly they barely leave footprints. It's like, oh my god, people. The front. I can't help.
No. Sometimes the internet is a good thing.
I mean, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is a bad thing,
It's a very
though,
bad
and
thing.
I truly feel like the internet has like this is
This week has been hilarious.
I
It's the
think
funniest thing.
like
House of
definitely.
Dragon, not so much. But
Oh, we'll
between
get there. Who knows what's going to happen on Sunday? Like, and people got an extra day of that. Many people
right
are off work on
to
Monday.
sit and think about it, because
I
Tuesday is gonna be a horrible day, man.
mean, because the next episode is going to have way more Corliss in it, right?
Right.
So who knows what's gonna? But I think this is like the years of sowing that fan culture is going to be the center of our popular culture. Well, now we're reaping, and this is what
Yes,
happens
this
when you
is it. We are
you
really
pander
we're
to these
in it
people.
now. We're in it now. We're in
Like,
the end game.
it's like where it's like, oh, these are the debates idiots had in comic book stores in the 90s when I was growing up, but now they
Right.
help elect Trump. It's like, oh God, it's like, what have we
Yes.
done?
Like you see certain things like you're saying, like, damn, and you ask yourself, how did Trump win? Well, history
Wow.
books in 2050 will be amazing
History
to read.
books are gonna have the She-Hulk twerk. Well, history
Yo,
websites that
can
kids
can you imagine like you as a teacher in like 2075?
Oh, it will not. It could even be as early as next year, man. Like I'll just use it as like an example. I was actually thinking,
Yeah,
like,
right.
I was like, is there like a lesson that I can like come up with to talk about this like insanity? Because I had the kids analyze the success of Harry Styles as an essay prompt this week, and it was quite popular. So, and some wild opinions across the board
What?
to review their essay skills. So, because
Oh my god.
they had to come up with
Yes.
supporting and countervailing evidence. All right, Mo. So it can't just be I love or hate Harry. You have to come up with the other side's point of view. So
Oh, please have him do the twerk heard around the world. Like it's like, what are the benefits of the twerk? And why is it the worst thing in American history? Oh, 2075 would be a fun year because like someone is gonna have to discuss Ben and read WAP in his voice. And like this man was serious about it. Like, do you understand how serious, like straight face, to read the lyrics of that song to your conservative listeners?
and
Watch.
to every white person's grandpa was watching Ben Shapiro read WAP. That again, I'm sure now. I bet if you went, and I do not suggest anyone do this because you don't want them in your algorithm. Because I bet there's been like a video about this show.
Oh yeah,
a video about She-Hulk. Because once you taste the sweet algorithm fruit of the outrage machine, they can't go back.
It can't. And it's funny that you say that you mentioned. So I think the actress who plays Dern's wife,
who was good, by the way, she was excellent in this.
Amazing. And I feel like we're gonna see more of her, and she's even gonna be better. I think she was asked a question, and she answered it. And there's this YouTube video because I'm looking for. I said so. I type on YouTube, Lord of the Rings of Power intro because I need the intro for the show. I'm trying to build an intro for the show. And I didn't just want it to be Isengard because that would be great, but I needed it to, like people to understand. Okay, we are talking Rings of Power here. And so I'm scrolling down, right? And it caught my eye. Rings of Power actress hates Tolkien. Yup. I didn't click it, but I was like, yes. This would be a video. Like this would be its own video. Like,
oh my God.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure she mentioned something about how like, like some of his characters weren't, he didn't really cater a lot of his characters to, people of color, African American people, and which is something you would expect an African American person to say. Because again, if I'm going to
also factually true, like whether or not you think that's a good or a bad thing, it is factually true. So
I don't know the contents of the video. I don't even know the contents of her answer. I don't know what she said. I just know there's a video on YouTube that says titled Rings of Power actress hates Tolkien. And I didn't click on it to see how many views it has, but I guarantee you over 1,000.
Oh, easily. Wow, Mo, you were just like, that is a I would
I'm
definitely take the over on 1,000. Easy. All right.
I know that's such an easy bet to make. Like,
I mean, look, what I would say to someone who's upset by whatever, I don't even know, whatever imagine you think that woman said is look at in the original novel how Tolkien describes the bad humans. Like what they look like, what cultures they're inspired by, what cardinal directions they come from, and then tell me that Lord of the Rings is hashtag unproblematic.
it is, but we're here now.
We are.
And society's taking steps to fix these things, but some people want to be stuck there so bad. I can't wait till the black elf does something super cool and super heroic, and I just want to hear the discourse. Because like, oh, of course they make him do that. Of course, because if people are complaining about Galadriel, who is again canonically like, I don't even want to say Mary Sue because like that would be understanding like her description, right? She could do everything, anything, magic, whatever. If people are complaining about Galadriel, I just know I feel so sorry for the actor because he will not be able to rest because he does anything super cool. Of course, they would make him do that. Why didn't they make him do that? He could have done it, but like because it's funny. It's funny, right? Because I think something that was actually said on somewhere. I'm not gonna say where, but it was about the troll fight. Oh, why couldn't anybody else do it? How come all the other capable warriors were just standing there? Why was Galadriel the only one to? You know, Rings
Stay
of
off
Power.
TikTok, Mo.
2 episodes. Rings of Power, 2 episodes. Episode 1, not so good. Episode 2, pretty good. I think if episode 2 spells anything for the show, I think it's that the rest of the show will get better.
I think so too. Like, I mean, there was a lot to set up, and the first episode, I honestly think didn't do a very good job. But now that we're sort of past the setup phase, I think the show will just benefit from it a lot. So I'm interested to see where they go from here. We're talking about ratings. First episode 5.
Yes.
Maybe even like a 4.5.
I was going 4, but 5 seems fair.
I think 6.5 for the second one. Maybe
7. Not that much of a jump, but a good enough jump to was like, okay, I can come back for however many more episodes, right? I think episode 2 gave me enough of let me see what the next episode feels like. Not necessarily saying I'm ready for the rest of the show, but it's like, you know what? You got me for another episode.
Yep.
That's exactly where I'm at. The first episode was so boring. Oh my god.
I was so tired watching this last night, Mo. Like because I worked all day. I go stuck in an Apple store for 90 minutes. Like it would take 5 minutes, which the poor people in our chat had to like listen to me slowly lose my mind. And then I went to I had another errand in DC traffic, and then I came home, walked the dog, and then started. I was just like tired and like out of it, and I was just like, what is this for the first episode? Like, I'm like, I could fall asleep if I position myself a certain way. I'll just fall asleep.
You were watching it this morning. You were watching the rest of it this morning. But no, I'm glad we're here though. So hopefully next week.
Yeah.
So starting Monday we're off, so we could definitely come back.
Yeah, I mean, I can even do it Sunday night now because
I was gonna say Sunday night. Look at us,
just jump right into it. Yeah, because I don't have work on Monday, so
I don't have work on Monday. So Sunday night or Monday, whichever
works for you.
Shakes up, right? House of Dragon. Wednesday because Andor still
Wednesday's still 2 weeks away.
Yeah, so Wednesday She-Hulk.
Thursday, She-Hulk, my friend.
I keep doing that. Thursday. So Star Wars Wednesday, Marvel Thursday.
Amazon Friday.
Amazon Friday. So question now. Amazon, are we doing Friday, or are we gonna wait? Because it's still, is it midnight?
It's midnight Thursday for me, I think still. But there's 0% chance I'm watching it Thursday night.
No, okay. I was saying, right? If it's midnight Thursday for you, that means it's 9 o'clock for me.
I mean, you can watch it. There's one benefit of being Pacific time, but
No, really, the only benefit so far is that if a show comes out at midnight, my time, I can actually watch. You be asleep.
yeah. Oh,
It's
I
midnight.
will be unbelievably
If I'm
asleep.
up at midnight, I can watch it. But that's really only. But Amazon somehow does midnight Eastern time, which is
For some
perfect.
reason.
Yeah. And they are the West Coast company that does.
Because like Netflix does the timed, like it's always Monday where you are thing, which is was very annoying when I used to have the stamina to like stay up and watch 3 episodes of something and then go to bed, which I do not have anymore.
No,
like Stranger Things. No, I'm watching that the next morning. So
yes,
yeah.
But
no, I mean,
so
the September of content is
here upon us,
here.
and I'm actually excited for it. Hopefully, She-Hulk does something even. Like, do you? Okay, question. Over on the She-Hulk top, the twerk, or you think that's the height of the show of their post credits?
Daredevil could do it, but I think Daredevil will be more just pure MCU people.
Yeah, like
I don't think like breaking into the pop culture. No, She-Hulk can't.
Yeah, okay, so
that's Megan Thee Stallion twerking and like all of the cultural detritus that comes with. But I think like in the MCU circles for like the context of our show,
right?
I think Daredevil could be equally or just as bad, but it's not going to get like lead to someone on CNN talking about it or whatever.
No, seriously, Ben should make a whole video.
Daredevil's the greatest piece of MCU content. Oh my god! If Ben Shapiro made a video like that truly. An asteroid should just come and destroy our civilization. Like we should just start over.
Wait, so that's what
like,
kills society?
It's just like Ben Shapiro standing Daredevil on Netflix. It's like, okay,
right.
Come.
Okay, all right, man. Thanks a lot. So hopefully next week we're here to do this. The asteroid hasn't come by Thursday, Friday, because it looks like if Ben Shapiro makes that video, it will be on Thursdays. Hopefully the asteroid hasn't destroyed the society by then. We will definitely be back here next week to do another episode of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. That's a mouthful. And hopefully we would have a lot more to talk about characters, because I feel like these 2 episodes didn't give us much to talk about in terms of like the characters.
Besides Galadriel, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, we're setting up the world and you're about to be thrust into this. I mean, because I feel like During is such an important character, right? Based on what he's going to do. But all we got from him was, I'm mad at you right now and I don't want to talk to you. So get out of my house.
Actually, I have a question before we go. What do you think is in the box that the dwarves had?
It's.
Do you think they already have their own rings already?
Probably the. So aren't the rings like fallen stars?
No, they're made by that dude, the guy who Elrond was hanging out with. That's the guy who makes the rings.
But what are they made from?
Now you've tested me.
It could be what could be in the box is a thing that makes one of the rings, or that's the
the dwarven rings.
Yeah, that's the one that goes to the dwarves.
Reasonable,
because it's 9 of them, right?
Pretty sure. Oh god, there's. Oh well, all right. Do you want to end it? Well, we can read the poem.
Yeah, let's
One ring poem. What are the rings? Okay. Ring verse is what this is called. All right. Let's see. We got this. Okay. 3 rings for the elven kings under the sky. 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone. 9 for mortal men doomed to die. 1 for the dark lord on his throne. In the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all. 1 ring to find them. 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. In the land of Mordor, where shadows lie. Okay, that was a fantastic way to end the show. We'll catch you next week.